Yes, welcome back to the Sports Show. Time to turn our attention to the footy, mate. The Southern Footy League, the great Southern Footy League, of course, as always. The Pres, Craig Warman from the Southern Footy League, and Terry Corcoran in from the great Southern Footy League. So try not to get that confused.
I'm already confused.
Already confused.
I'm already totally confused.
All right, let's start with you first, mate. Not too far away, season starting. Weather's pretty nice. Boys will be up and about. The girls up and about as well. Yep. Season's starting to look like it's shaping up pretty good.
Mate, we will look to have a really good season. I know several other clubs have recruited rather strongly in trying to catch Flagstaff Hill, who have actually lost a couple of players to various other leagues. But we're looking to have a pretty good season right across the board. So good numbers with all of the junior grades as well. So yeah, looking to have a really good season.
Any names we know that would be popping into the being recruited?
I'm not going to let the cat out the bag too early because, hey, we've got the opposition here.
I might take some notes.
And, you don't want him to jump in and...
And like if they, all of a sudden we start naming these players and they turn up in our association side, like they got a bit of catching up to do over the last couple of years.
Well, why'd you bring him in?
Well, the new bloke on the block, we got to introduce him.
Got to break the new Pres into the great Southern Footy League. Terry, the women's side of things for you, mate. 2017, you started the Women's League with 4 teams.
4 teams.
2019, we're up to 8 teams.
8 teams.
Have you been surprised how quickly the women's footy's taken off?
It's been exponential. The girls' development as well has been very, very good because, you know, from the first 4 or 5 clubs that played in their first 4 or 5 weeks, it was a pretty daunting task. The skills weren't there, but over a period of 2 seasons, it's developed very, very quickly.
We talked to both clubs. Obviously, suddenly there's a mass influx of women playing. The facilities, the change rooms, everything needs to be updated and changed. How's the great Southern Footy League cope with that?
A lot of clubs are now getting, Victor Harbour now have got new change rooms to a value of about $4.8 million. Strathalbyn the same, to facilitate the female side of the thing. Wollonga are doing one now at the moment for female change rooms. And other clubs are looking at the same development over the next 18 months.
Who pays for that? That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money
for a footy league.
Yeah, well, fortunately, a lot of the clubs have great volunteers and development that way, fundraising and so forth. But the grants from the federal and the state governments and the councils have been fantastic as well.
I was going to ask the question. Yeah. They're obviously getting behind it.
Women's football or women's sport in general, I think all forms of government are getting behind it, which they should.
It's been the same in the Southern Footy League, though. We touched on it towards the end of last year. The explosion from, I reckon, under 15s, under 17s was massive. Continued again.
Yep, we'll have 14s, 16s, and senior women's in our competition for the ladies and the girls. So yeah, it's just, as you say, it's over that really short space of time. It's just expanded massively.
Did either of you think when they started talking about the AFLW starting up, because it's all catapulted off the back of that, could you see it exploding the way it has in 3 seasons?
Not so much. Not the rapid growth. There was going to be natural interest across the board, but the scale of the expansion has been what's really blown us apart.
Has it helped the men's league at all in any way? You know, suddenly there are more women playing. There's more people attending games, but the bills have added up.
Well, the bills have added up, but I think from the club's point of view, they've like take the club that I was involved with before I became president was the Wollonga Football Club.
Yep.
And we introduced the girls to us in 17, and our first presentation night that year, we had 140 people at our presentation night for that night, and 80 had never been inside the club.
Fantastic.
Okay. I mean, and they'll bring their boyfriends.
Yeah, boyfriends, girlfriends, or whatever the case might be, and mum and dad and grandparents. And we've got our membership has gone up exponentially as well.
I do a bit of work with the Norwood Footy Club, and occasionally the guys are on training, and then the girls have to get on and train as well. So there's kind of a division of the oval. Similar in your side?
We train Monday and Wednesdays for the girls, and Tuesday, Thursdays for the boys.
Yep. Okay. Where do the juniors fit in amongst all of that?
Our under-13s, well, I'll use Wollonga as an example too because I've been more involved with them, but under-13s and under-15s we have an open girls over 16. They all train on the one night, one venue, and I basically train together at the start, and then they split up into their little groups for their coaching groups, and away they go.
Well, there seems to be a really good synergy between the Southern Footy League and the Great Southern Footy League. You guys work really well together, except I know when you have the big game that
There's
comes up.
one day
You guys are not all that friendly, but you know, it's just, I reckon there's something that other clubs can learn from that. You know how they try and protect their own. You guys have been actually working together and expanding really nicely. What do you put that down to?
Well, I've got to say that someone like Gordon Tonkin and his predecessors as well have always worked with the Southern Football League and in a zone sort of feeling, and with Kangaroo Island as well joining that zone now, we try and be strong in the zone as well. That gives us a bigger voice with the Sandful. That helps.
Has the boss got any words of wisdom for the new president coming in, mate? You've talked about your club Wollonga, and now you're in the president's seat, mate. Are you going to lean on the guru and try and get some info out of Craig, or?
Oh, as much as I can before the association game, yeah.
Yeah.
Recruiting and what have you done here?
No, you make a very valid point there, Phil, and it would be reminiscent if we don't talk about the previous president, Gordon Tonkin.
Yep.
He was terrific in the work that he did in the time that he was in the chair. And some of the things that we were able to do is, again, expand our umpires panel, break down a lot of things where, certainly and it started with the umpires panel with one set of rules.
Yep.
So if you umpired in the Southern Footy League, you go to the Great Southern Footy League, they're the same rules. And little things like that, and we've been able to massage various sections of football operations. That's been a great guidance to both of us.
But when you talk about the rules, the AFL continue to be settle, mate. We'll come back to you a bit later, fire up on this one. They keep introducing rules, rule changes all the time. Southern Footy League and the Great Southern Footy League, they come under that umbrella of the same rules. So when the rule change is there, they introduce that to you guys, or do you guys have a say and go, you know what, we've just about had enough of it?
Yeah, no, we do. We get the directive from the AFL down to the SANFL and would like us to. Well, it's impossible with some of the new rules to come in, like the 6 and 6 and whatever. We're not doing that.
Yeah,
that's just too hard for us. The automatic kicking between don't have to kick it yourself and play on, etc. We'll adopt that one. The 50-metre penalty, we'll adopt that one.
And watch it carefully.
Yeah. Well, the problem with that is a lot of people don't understand that you've still got that protected area. So if a bloke's taken a mark or a kick, and this was the Sean Higgins problem, he took the mark and then he ran alongside him inside the protected area. So there's two parts of it. So yeah, we will be looking at several of them. Yep. But there's several that we won't adopt because they're just not relevant to us.
Out of the 10 new rules, we sat down with the umpires panel. Both Craig and I sit on the board with the umpires panel, and we discussed them and went through them, and with their advice as well as our own thoughts, we adopted 6 of the new rules or interpretations. A lot of the rules were actual interpretations, you know, the pushing the back or the touching of the back and so forth, were interpretations back of the old days of footy when we used to play. So they were taken on board straight away. The only real new rule, I think, is we didn't adopt the 666, as Craig said, because basically you can't control that with one umpire in the middle, especially in junior level. It would be hopeless. So that wasn't adopted, and the 50-metre rule was adopted. That was probably the most controversial. And the kicking out, I think, is going to speed the game up a bit.
Hey boys, really appreciate you coming in. Of course, the presidents of both the Southern Footy League and the Great Southern Footy League. To you, Terry, good luck in the hot seat, mate. We'll catch up with you during the year.
Look forward to it.
Stay with us. Still more to come on the show.